Hello everyone and welcome to the first and hopefully a series of tutorials on how to play EVE Online. I will be covering the tutorials in these videos and I will be starting off with the Galentio race. I will hopefully do the other races as well in the near future, but it will depend on the time constraints I have in real life. So as you can see, there are 4 races that you can choose from. Now, it isn't really important which one you choose because you're not limited in EVE Online by the race that you choose. You can pretty much learn anything or do anything disregarding what initial race you picked. So you should be going mainly for aesthetic or for the ideology of set factions if that suits you. Now you've got the Amarians. These are very religious people who also keep slaves. They're the largest nation in EVE Online. You've got the Minmatar. These are kind of a tribal race. And they were enslaved by the Amarians, but have fought their way free, although still a substantial part of their population is enslaved by the Amarians at this current time. Then you've got the Kaldari. They're basically like corporations gone crazy, because the state, the Kaldari state, is just a bunch of super corporations that joined together and decide they were a state. And they are like a Chinese heritage thingy. And you've got the Galente, which is democracy and freedom gone crazy. It's a bit hedonistic, but I tend to like the Galente, so we're gonna go with those guys. So if you select one, you get this brief intro video that you can play, and it basically says the same thing that you can read down here. But I'm not gonna bother doing that because you can actually see it for yourself. Now, once you selected a certain race, you have to select the bloodline. You've got the purebred Galente, you've got the Jinmei, which is kind of a constituent race, and you've got the Intaki. For some reason I always go Intaki, but let's do a bit weird this time around and go for purebred Galente. And female, because why not? So once you chose a bloodline, you will be redirected to the character customization window, which looks somewhat like this. Well, looks somewhat like this as soon as it has loaded. So yeah, there we go. First thing you have to do, bigger boobs. Second thing you have to do, bigger ass. So yeah, as you can see, the way you basically adjust your character is by dragging around a lot of stuff. So for instance, if I want to adjust the eyes, you can do them lower or higher depending on your needs. Higher cheekbones, lower cheekbones, wider cheekbones. And it basically just works like that. Now as soon as you dragged around to your heart's content and increase the size of the boobs and made the hips a bit wider and stuff like that, you can actually start playing with muscularity. As you can see, it gets a bit more muscular if you increase the slider, a bit more toned. Oh, that's a bit too close. Let's go full on musculature. There we go. It can get a bit creepy on some models. And the weight, so you can make it fatter I said, oh fucking hell, or more anorexic, depending on what suits your fancy. So yeah, this is just yucky. Anyway, let's put it all in the middle because we like the middle. Then you can change the complexion. You're kind of limited by which initial race you chose. The Minmatar are generally darker in skin tone. The Amarians lighter, so yeah, you can always go back and select another race if you want to. So this looks kind of cool. Then you can go for freckles, which does kind of do this. Some freckles, whee, isn't that cute? It kind of is. Aging, which just makes it a bit more wrinkly and saggy. Let's just go out age here for a second. Yeah, there you see, quite a bit of lines in the face. But we like our characters young because in EVE you're an immortal capsuleer. And scarring, which, yeah, just makes the face a bit pockmarked and stuff like that. Wait for stuff to load. So yeah, you see there's some scarring going on here, and you can increase that to your heart's content as well. Well, increase your heart's content, it's only got 3 settings. So you see it just makes the face a bit pockmarked. There are actually kinda real scars as well, which I will hopefully get to shortly. So yeah, let's go with this at the moment. A bit of freckles is always nice. Eyes, shape of the irises and stuff like that you can also adjust. And I've got a few eye colors to choose from. Now this can be a bit misleading because some eye colors choices aren't quite what you would expect them to be. So just play around with them until you find something that you're happy with. Ooh, this is kind of a nice blue. Let's increase the size of those blue thingies. Ooh, this is nice. Yeah, I'm gonna go with those, but I'm gonna go for this as well. Then you can go for hair. There's a few hairstyles, like 24, which you can do as a whichever way you like. Let's go a bit frizzy on this one. And let's play... Ooh, this is kind of weird, but sure, whatever. And you can adjust the hair color as well. This is kind of very blonde. I do wonder if you adjust the hair color, does it also do... Well, we shouldn't get into that. There might be kids watching this. Kids, don't play EVE Online, it's not a game for you. Unless you're under the supervision of your parents. In that case, I can allow it. Although, for your parents, don't let them go into random corporations. They might get sort of raped verbally. Because some corporations are like that. Okay, I really can't be arsed to work with the hair. Let's go with this, because I'm too lazy to do anything else. Then you've got eyeshadow and eyeliner and stuff like that, but that's too much effort. Maybe we do some lipstick. We can actually do some lipstick. So yeah, lipstick. These are only two. Oh no, this is blush. Oops. I don't want blush. I don't want blush. Do the blush away. Go away. Okay, there. So lipstick, no, that's way too Japanese for my taste. Let's go with regular lipstick. Regular, yeah, that's the one. And nice glossy red lips. Ooh, isn't she sexy all of a sudden? And some clothes. I actually think you can go with, well, like this in the underwear. I'm not entirely sure, but I think you can. But we're not gonna go for outer. I don't like the jackets. Let's just go for a top, a bottom, and something to wear for shoes. You're kind of limited in the amount of options you do have for clothing. You can buy more with real life money or with Plexus in the next store. Although I think it's kind of overpriced, but that's my opinion. You do not necessarily need to agree with that. Some people just have quite a bit more money than I do. Oh, let's go with the alternative kinds. Well, I like these. Yeah, let's go with these. Okay, so something for the feet, some boots maybe. What do we have in the way of boots? No, those are just slippers. Yeah, boots. I like boots. You can select how you tuck them, so you can either have the trousers go over the boots, or you can have the trousers go in the boots. So now it should actually go over them. Yeah, there we go. I like this one better. And then you have body modifications, which are piercing, stats, and scars. And these are like real scars. I will actually demonstrate those. So, for instance, if I want to scar one of the eyes, I can do that. And the eye will turn white and have a big ass scar over it, as you will see. Yeah, there you go. Kinda creepy, but whatever floats your boat. Anyway, it's not my thing. That's are kind of cool. There's some cool ones in those. You can also select the color of the tattoo. I'm gonna go with blue. It's kind of cool. I actually never made a character with tattoos before. Might actually start. This might be a bit much, I think. Yeah, it's a bit much. Let's go with something subtle. Yeah, like that. I think we can do that. And then yeah, piercings, obviously, the way you think them. So yeah, let's go with that. You can always turn off the body modifications at will, just by clicking this thing. Or you can turn them on. It's basically up to you. Anyway, let's go to next. So as soon as you've got a character you're kinda happy with, you can now select how they should pose. Creepy smiles always work. Okay, actually not quite happy with this character, but for the purposes of this video, let's just carry on and assume that I am happy with them. And then you can strike poses. If you zoom out a bit more, you will actually see. Yeah, and you can tilt the head and just turn around the head and decide which way the eyes look. I think you got the idea. Anyway, random this, random that, random this. Yeah, you always have those random kind of things. Okay, this just sucks. This is better. Look at the camera. Come on, doll. Your face really doesn't look like anything like that. Okay. Yeah, and then just get the eyes to watch the camera. Your mouth is way too big there, but okay. Then you can take a photo and you can just turn around a bit and take a different one. And then you can start to compare which one you like better. So if you click one, it just goes to that kind of pose, and yeah. Anyway, so then the identity bit, which is kind of important. You can choose a name. Okay, apparently I can't use a space for a family name, but I think I might do it here. Yeah, okay, this is definitely still available. You can always check, but yeah, there you go. Really old characters you can actually recognize because they only have a single name, like my main. But most characters these days actually require two names, although I think you can cheat and no, you can't do space. Sorry! Okay, then you can select what kind of ancestry you've got, what kind of education you've got. This determines your starting location if I'm not mistaken. This really doesn't do much. I think it determines the very basic skill set you start with, but I'm not entirely sure. So yeah, as soon as you're happy, you just go with finalize. Yeah, this is how you look, blah blah blah. And there we go. Ellen's teaching alt has just been created. And now we can actually start with the genuine tutorial bit. So yeah, we are in a starting location, Duripant, which is a Galactic starting location. Feral Navy Academy, like we selected. And yeah, this is the corp chat, and since this is a noob corp, there's a lot of people in here, but we're gonna ignore them for the time being. So yeah, click next when you're ready to begin the tutorial. Words. So we're in a pod, basically. You can fly around in this thing, and it doesn't do anything because as soon as this goes boom, you actually die and get cloned. So anyway, bear with me, we are going to do the tutorial because this is a tutorial video. Ta-da! Welcome to your new life, pilot. I am Aura. Isn't she supposed to read this out loud? I think she is. Anyway, yeah, so next back, pretty basic. Yeah, this will show you that you get some basic funds and a ship, and it will teach you to do some things like defend yourself. If you close it, you just can click on her and reopen the tutorial, always very convenient. Actually, before we go on, first thing you should do, really important, click this thing or go to your character screen. Actually might be a bit taller in your case, because you can increase it. And I think you can actually drag it out, but I'm not entirely sure. I think it actually starts dragged out by default, but whatever. So yeah, and you open the planner by either clicking this little bar here or going to the character screen and then to skills and open training queue. And then you just dump a load of skills in there. I recommend the frigate skill for a good starter skill. Actually gunnery is pretty useless at the moment. And small hybrid, and it should actually fill it to about a day, which is good, and then you just hit apply and it will start training and you don't lose any time. Anyway, as soon as you've done that, do that first, it's very important. You can go with the tutorial and then rookie help chat and our stuff. I'm actually surprised rookie help isn't open. It generally should be. It might be because this is a secondary account. I think that might be the reason why. I'm actually gonna check rookie help. I'm pretty sure this is not the genuine rookie help channel. Yeah, it isn't. Maybe it's in help. Nah, it's not in here. Probably because this is an alt character. So you should have this channel, but I don't. And yeah, first agents. Agents you can always find at the right side of the window. So unless you drag it around, obviously. But you've got the station services and you've got a few things. You've got the offices. This is usually for corporations. You see there's a few here, there's 3 available, so a corporation could still rent one. You've got guests, which I can't click because this thing is in the way. So guests, that actually shows you who's in station. This is kind of convenient if you want to trade. And you've got agents. So in this case, Aura, the tutorial thingy, is our agent. So double click and it will start a conversation, which we're supposed to do right now. Okay, so she's telling us that we have to fly into space, retrieve a ship and use it to carry back an item from the local cargo rig. So we are going to accept the mission. Very important, accept this. You are going to forget this. Gonna stress this, you're going to forget this about 10 times, and even then you're still not gonna always click the accept mission before you head out. And there's nothing quite as annoying as thinking you've accepted a mission, flying to the location for 10 jumps, actually ending up there, and then deciding you have to turn back because you didn't accept the damn mission. So remember this, it's kind of important. And then press the big ass unlock button on the right side. And it should undock. Ta-da! We're now in space. This might actually go away. And you see there's actually an overview on the right side which helps us to see where we're going. We can actually close this as well. On the left side we now see agent missions, and we see that there's one in progress. This is the agent home base where we return to, and we see that we can warp to a location in dead space. This is where we have to head to pick up the ship she was talking about. You can also right click on empty space and then it will list the same locations, so the agent home base and the encounter in dead space. It's probably most convenient if you just use it on the left side of the screen. But you can choose whichever way suits you. So now we are actually heading out. And we're warping. Look at that. Okay, this might actually take a while. So while we are warping, I'm gonna quickly show you what these things are. Mining is for some reason set up for... I think these are actually overview settings I made on my main account. I'm pretty sure they are. Yeah. There's also some defaults, ones which you can select by load default, and then it will actually change the overview to whichever thing you select. Anyway, you see now that we've arrived at the right side, there's a Velator, and there's no one in it because normally it should be a pilot name here. And if we zoom in, we see that it's actually quite close by. So if you mouse over it, then you can actually, mouse over it and hold down the left mouse button, you can actually see the board ship option that shows up. You can also right click it and select board ship. Now we are within 2,500 meters, so we can actually board it from here, which we are going to do right now. And now it will actually change the session because we're getting in there, and now we are actually in here. So obviously there's no mods equipped on this thing, but we can now fly around with it. So double clicking on empty space will actually start moving your ship in that direction. And that's the basic way you can actually start navigating. So yeah. Okay, oh, we have to open the agent dialog window again. You can do that here by pressing Alt J, or you can just click the journal and then double click on the mission entry. So now we've done that, we actually have to go through the acceleration gate, which is this thing. And you've got a few options. You can just hold left mouse button over it and activate the gate, or you can just click on it, or click on it in the overview, and then you've got the selected item window, which shows you that you are actually selecting the acceleration gate. And if you activate the gate, it will just warp you a short distance. You can also do the same thing here. Anyway, these things can be closed again. And double clicking on a window will actually minimize it. So yeah, for some reason we're getting some beats going. There's no combat going down here, so don't be alarmed, it's all fine. And you just approach a cargo rig. Now this acts as a container, so if you select it, or in the overview, you can actually open the cargo. Holding left mouse button again, it works, so whichever works. And you just get this license, drag it into your cargo hold. You can also drag it in down here. It's the same thing really. And you've got it. So now that we've done that, we're going to redock at the agent home base. You can either select the only system in station, or you can just use this window and select it that way. And there we go, warping off. Gonna close this now. Ah, damn it. It won't allow me. That's kind of lame. Yeah, we're just gonna hand in the mission before we proceed. Eve is quite a bit of Windows, so you might as well get used to it right now. I'm gonna turn down the music a bit because this is kind of loud. There we go, master volume. Pro tip, press escape, you got the options menu, and it's got quite a bit of options. We might actually cover all the options in a different tutorial, but for now let's just carry on with what we've got. Okay, that was a bad idea apparently. Yeah, so we're docked back in station. For some reason the environment didn't load after I exited the options menu, but whatever. So we again select Aura in the agents menu. We now have the item she required from us. So we are going to complete the mission and we are getting a single repair, well, repair systems book in return. So we are going to open the items window right now. Which by default is right at the top here. I generally keep it down here, but that's a matter of taste really. And you can always open it by clicking it or selecting Alt-C. So let's click. And for some reason we still have this thing. We might actually need it at some later date, I don't know. And you've got a skill book. Now skill books are really important. So everything you see here is basically a skill book that has been injected into your brain. Now in this particular instance, we are going to do the same thing. We're going to inject the skill into our brain. And other mechanics, you now can see that repair systems has been added. Now, it takes 8 minutes to train a skill to level 1, so I suggest we do this right now and actually get a second level in right away as well. Oh, something is crashing. Let's wait for it to stabilize for a second. Alright, so welcome back. Apparently it crashed. Whatever, happens. Anyway. So we did get this repair skill book, which is in here, and we injected it into our brain. So everything you see here are basically skills, and apparently we activated it, which is good. So just select it, drag drop it, and it will get a level ready for training. Now we're gonna train repair systems to level 1 at least. I'm actually gonna try and get to 2. And in total this will take about 40 minutes, well slightly more. It's gonna be like 45 minutes of time. So we're gonna let this train in the background, and meanwhile we're gonna continue on with what we have to do here. So what we're getting here is a tutorial for the combat basics from Aura. So you have to double click the agents again. You accept, and you are getting some items again. So, well, no, you get them if you complete the mission. I do beg your pardon. So next thing we have to do is head to the location in space and start by destroying the fuel depot and then move on to destroy the pirates in the next area. I'm not entirely sure if we have weapons at this point. I don't think we do actually. No we don't, so I'm not entirely sure how they expect us to take down the enemy. But let's see how this turns out. Maybe I get blown up. This would be interesting. It might actually be part of the tutorial, letting you be blown up so you have to redock and get a ship with modules on this time. Yeah, warps can be kind of boring, but you get used to it. It's generally a good idea to get something to eat while you are warping. So yeah, again acceleration gate, just activate the damn thing and get in there. And here we are at the first pocket. Now I'm not entirely sure if we were supposed to do anything here. We might not have to do anything here. So let's go to the next one. Yeah, okay, accept mission. We know how to do this. We know how to open the mission journal. We know how to undock. We know how to move stuff around and scroll. So yeah, excellent. Yeah, the overview, we already covered this. Selected items, we already covered that out as well. Oh yeah, okay. Broken squares are ships flown by capsuleers and crosses are NPCs. So yeah. And stations are the full squares. And gates are just like this, but we'll get to all that at some point. Okay, next. Okay. Selecting thingies, right click to contextual menu. Yeah, we got that as well. Yeah, got this as well, Actually, we all covered this earlier on, so I'm gonna skip ahead until there's something I didn't know. So yeah, Bandit Saboteur is attacking me. I don't have any weapons whatsoever to fight back. So I'm kind of curious to see if we're about to be killed. Yeah, we already covered this as well. Covered this, covered that. Oh, we're supposed to fit stuff. Yeah, now we get stuff. Okay, so what did we learn right now? Don't skip ahead. Okay, return to the station right now. And we're gonna pick up those items. I should probably point out, I have been playing E for 5 years, but I haven't run the tutorial since, so there's stuff I don't know that have changed, like this for instance. So yeah, let's dock the hell up. So we get the items, then we fit them. I'm gonna cover fitting as soon as we are docked. I was actually hoping to cover this sooner, but yeah, not clicking next is clearly a bad idea. So we have a few items. Yay! Oh, they're actually in my bay. Who knew, right? So you open the fittings menu by clicking this thingy or clicking Alt F or clicking there, whatever, you got a few options. And then you just drop stuff on. Now we've got an electron blaster and a civilian armor repair. Both of these are kind of sucky modules, but they're the only thing we've got, so let's work with them. And now we're undocking again and warping away. I'm actually gonna cut this out, I think. And here we go, warp. Please tell me I don't have to return for freaking antimatter charges. Okay, they load some in our cargo bay. So right clicking and selecting antimatter charge will load antimatter charges. The other option you have is just by clicking the ship, its cargo bay, and then just drag dropping the ammo onto your gun. This always works brilliantly. So yeah, there we go, guns loaded, excellent. We can close this thing now. We can now, yeah, there's a few different kinds of weapons, but we get into that later, so don't really bother with that. And we don't really have to activate it straight away because we don't have an enemy yet. So warp to the first gate, warp to the second gate, you get the idea, guys. Yeah, okay. So that's the first pocket. Oh, we have to shoot this? Yeah, okay, so there's a fuel depot next to us, which we apparently have to destroy. So you can target it just by doing the left mouse button holds, or you can, let's unlock this, just click it once and then go to select items and lock it. You can also right click and lock. As I said, you've got a few options to do this, whatever works best for you. And then you just click the gun and it will fire. So boom, 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 and the fuel depot will go up in a blaze of smoke, or just disappear and then show some shiny pretty explosives for some reason. And there we go, repair systems has actually trained to level 1, which is good news. Oh, and we get a few hits because that thing went boom. So this is the moment when we learn how to use the armor repair. So just clicking the damn thing will actually activate it, and it will slowly repair your armor hit points. Each time it hits the end of the cycle, it will repair you a bit. It's important to note that armor repairs repair at the end of the cycle, whereas shield boosters repair you upon the activation, so at the beginning of the cycle. But we'll get into that at some point. So right now we'll lock up the Bandit Saboteur. We are going to orbit it. It's kind of important to orbit because you take less damage that way. We will shortly be disabling this thing because it's nearly repairs to full, and we want to keep our capacitor ready. And now we will actually shoot it. There we go, activating the module. We're still missing what is actually the effective range of this thing. So mousing over will show you effective range, which is in this case 2000 meters. Yeah, and now we're actually landing some hits. Now we are close to the bandit saboteur. You see it's going down. So the outside is shield, inside that is armor, and inside that is the hull. And if hull goes to 0, you die. So it's not a good idea to have that happen to you. Okay, we have to destroy that, and once we... oh, there's 2 ships. We can actually go back to the station. And we got some new items. A new skill book. Isn't that great? We're still too far away to properly hit. Yeah, now we're getting range, and we're actually landing hits now. We only have the 1 gun, so this might take a little while. And there we go. This pop-up generally shows up at the end of the mission. Doesn't always. Some missions don't get to pop up at the end of the mission. But in this case it does. And we will get a small armor repair for doing this mission. So now we have to go back to the station and refit the small armor repair we currently have, which is a civilian one, for an actual small armor repair, which will use more capacitor, but it will repair a lot more. So it's actually a much better module. As a rule of thumb, if you see civilian on any module, it's generally a crap thing to have. So get those swapped out as soon as you can, and as soon as it allows you to. As you can see, we're still training the repair systems, but now we're training to level 2 because the first level just completed while we were fighting. And there we go, we're back at the station. We're gonna dock right now. And again we talk to Aura and we complete the mission. And now we get the small armor repair that we so much desired. Now in this case it didn't come into our cargo hold, but it is in the inventory window. You see in the item hanger, because you've got a few things. You've got the ship hanger where we see our ships, item hanger where we see items, and then we've got the cargo hold and the drone bay. But we don't have any drones yet, so you shouldn't worry about that. So we're gonna get the new one on, and the old one is pretty much useless, so we're getting that off. You can keep both, but it doesn't really work that well. Now it's important to note that our capacitor, if we keep this module on indefinitely, will be drained in like 34 seconds. Whereas with the civilian repair we're completely stable. However, if we go to the armor repair rate, we now have 5 HP repaired every 3 seconds. With the small armor repair on the other hand, we have 69 HP repaired every 5.7 seconds. So that's actually a pretty major increase. So if you pulse this, it's much more useful than a civilian armor repair. So yeah, we already covered how to train skills and how to do additional skills. And now we are getting a new mission. And we have to go to Tosquere, whatever the hell, where we have to bring a certain item to. Well, we actually have to pick it up there and then bring it back here. So we're going to accept this mission. We right click Tosquere, set destination. You will see that the autopilot will actually show it to you. And then we will undock. And as soon as we complete this mission, I'm actually gonna call it a wrap, because I think we will have covered the basics of the first few minutes or even hour of Eve. So now you see that if we undock, there's this gate which is covered in yellowish tinge instead of the general white. So if you click on that, you can align, warp to, or jump. Now if you're out of jump range, then it will actually warp you to the gate first before jumping, which is what it's going to do now. And as soon as you land, it's going to jump you through. You can also right click on the autopilot on the gate you have to go to, and then select the jump through Stargate option, which is always very great. Okay, it's covering quite a bit of stuff, but we'll get to most of that later on, or we already covered it. It's always convenient to reread it so you actually get the feedback that you might not always get from the video, so you know where you're at. But since you can just skip ahead and skip back, it's always a good idea to find the exact spot you're on and continue reading there. So now we're in system and we're supposed to go to the academy, which we are going to do now. We have to warp to Dead Space Encounter, so we're gonna warp to location. Always note how your ship turns before it actually warps. The reason for that is that you actually require 3 things in order to warp. You require to be aligned with the certain object that you want to warp to. You require the speed to actually engage the warp. You have to have at least 3/4 speed. Sorry, I had to drink there because my throat was getting a bit sore from all the talking. And yeah, as soon as you've got those 2 things, you actually need to engage the warp. So here we are. We're at the mission location, and we see that there's a Galenta Academy office. And this is actually where we need to be. So if you left mouse over, you can go to the plus sign, and it gives you a few additional options. In this case, you can look at, which is convenient because you can look at stuff. And if you want to reset the camera, you can click on the little ship icon you have next to your HUD, or alternatively, if you look at something, you can just reset the camera this way. And there's finally one other option. You can just right click on empty space and select reset camera. So now that we are in range, we are actually opening the academy, and we're dragging this pilot certification into our cargo hold. And now we're gonna warp back to Durapant. Now if you lost your way and don't know which way to go, just click on the agent missions. You see the agent base and the objective. You'll select set destination, and it will set destination back. And there you see it, now it's yellow. Now we're still flying around with an Ellen's Teaching Altvelator. That's the name of the ship. We can actually change this by right clicking it, selecting set name, and then just typing in the name and pressing OK. And now it will actually be named NoobTube. So we've got the destination. We're gonna jump back through the gate, and then we're going to dock at the base. And usually you hand in the mission at that point. So you just jump through the gate. There we go. Gate fires. We go through millions of miles of space. Light years even, one might say. And then we go to dock at the Federal Navy Academy. Again, just like the jump command, if you're not in range to perform the action that you want to do, it will actually warp you over to the location first before attempting the action, which is really quite convenient. Here we are back at the base. So we talk to Aura. We have the item in our base, so we complete the mission. And there we go. Mission complete. That's the end of that. Now again, I need to stress, if you are going to log out, make sure that your training queue is filled for at least 24 hours, preferably even longer than that, because if the last skill you put in is longer than 24 hours, it actually stretches all the way beyond. And pressing apply, so you are always training even when not online. Because if I log off now and I log back in tomorrow in say 20 hours, then these 2 skills will have completely trained, and this little skill here will actually be nearly done. So that's it. I hope this was educational and this helped you in any way. If you have any questions, please post them below in the comments, and I will hopefully get back to you and answer them as well usefully as possible. Also, if I get enough questions on a certain topic, I will probably use a video to cover those. So thanks for watching. If you liked it, like it. If you want to see more of these, because I plan to do more of these, please subscribe. And I see you guys for the next tutorial in a few days, I think. So that's it. Bye!